Yeah. What are you saying, Dad? Wouldn't have gone past two, would it?
Yo, what's up guys? Blue Collar Sports TV here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Conor Benn has wasted no time to rub salt in the wounds of Chris Eubank Jr. This man, Conor Benn, I say man, but I mean, the guy is fastly becoming the most dislikable figure in British boxing, and that is some achievement, quite frankly, when you have the likes of Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders, Tony Bellew, etc, etc, etc. Quite some achievement, so I got to give Conor Benn some credit there. The guy's an absolute fucking toolbox, as far as I'm concerned. Blew his big payday with Chris Eubank Jr. by being an imbecile. And here we have him, you know, just doing that usual shit on social media that fighters do when a rival loses. And again, I say rival, Chris Eubank Jr. should never have been Conor Benn's rival. He should be concentrating on the likes of Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis, you know, other guys who are coming up in the welterweight division. But we all know he's never going to go near those guys, Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. He's not going to go near those guys. He doesn't have it in him, as far as I'm concerned. He is one of these, I guess I would call them, he's one of those reality TV boxers. He's making bread off his dad's name, you know, but he's trying to maneuver himself into big money fights. Fights that sell, but not fights in which are going to necessarily increase his legacy or get him into a position to where he fights for a world title at his natural weight, which is welterweight. Now this payday's gone up in smoke for Conor Benn, what's the plan? Is he going to try and drag the corpse of Kell Brook out of retirement? Is that what he's going to do here? Maybe. I wouldn't put it past him. We all know he's not going to fight. He's not going to fight any of his real rivals in his natural weight class of 147. Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis, no way. So I'll be interested to see where he goes from here and how they maneuver his career from this point forwards, because that's really what Conor Benn's career has been about, man. Extremely careful matchmaking, seems to be scared to death of fighting punchers, and yeah, he's fighting washed up old men. You know, fights with the likes of Granados and Sebastian Formella, those fights made sense at that time in his career. But the Chris Van Heerden fight, the Chris Algieri fight, you know, these fights were against guys who were, they had no business in there really. They was there for a payday and they rolled over, completely shot. What is Conor Benn going to do from this point forwards? Bear in mind, he's talking shit on social media when he's still got this PED case hanging over his head, and we've not really heard anything about it. We've seen Conor Benn on social media proclaim his innocence, saying that he's invested in various researchers and scientists that proves that he's innocent, etc, etc. Conor Benn should be a spokesman for Pfizer. Trust the science, guys. Fucking hell. But yeah, Conor Benn's a joke, man. The guy's a celebrity boxer, just like Chris Eubank Jr. The guy's not going to fight anybody anytime soon, as proven by his careful matchmaking. He's not going to fight anybody next, I wouldn't have thought, because, you know, been out of a ring for quite some time now, and more than likely he'll fight some old man, some knockover job, maybe the ghost of Robert Guerrero or Victor Ortiz, somebody along those lines. Casual idiots will eat it up saying, oh, these guys are former world champions. Yeah, cool. That's going to be the sort of guy Conor Benn fights next, in my estimation. And yeah, maybe going forwards, Conor Benn is going to be under more scrutiny in regards to big fights. The Chris Eubank Jr. scenario, we all know he drained Chris Eubank Jr. in that fight. Catch weight, rehydration clause. Also, I happen to believe that Chris Eubank Jr. was drug drained in that fight. I assume that he was under more close supervision from the likes of VADA and UCAD. Maybe he was being tested more, you know, as a way of making sure Chris was clean, whereas Conor Benn more than likely wasn't tested as much. This sort of thing happens all the time with A-sides in boxing, and Conor Benn just fucked it up by getting caught with a silly substance. So yeah, I think he drug drained Chris Eubank Jr. originally. He certainly weight drained him, and maybe that played a factor in his loss to Liam Smith. You know, that was quite a quick turnaround, really. He was on weight for a long time for Conor Benn first time around. Maybe he changed some dietary needs, which kind of kept him at that weight longer. And yeah, a quick turnaround. Maybe he never really recovered from that. Plus as well, if my theory on the drugs is correct, maybe he didn't have enough time to cycle back on something for the Liam Smith fight. The Eubank Benn fight was supposed to go down, mid-October? That obviously fell through, and quite soon after, the Liam Smith fight was announced, and that obviously took place on the 21st of January. So if Chris Eubank Jr. was drug drained in that fight with Conor Benn, where he couldn't use his PEDs, I would assume that, given this quick turnaround, he probably couldn't cycle on anything for the Liam Smith fight either. So in combination with the weight, being drug drained, maybe that affected Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance here. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Liam Smith came to fight, and he knocked out Chris Eubank Jr. Great performance by Liam Smith. But you know, when it comes to Conor Benn, these are the sort of things in which he has in his favour, in my opinion, because Chris Eubank Jr. is a relatively big name, and he was able to basically bend him over when it came to the negotiations, not only in regards to money, but all the other stipulations. So, again, weaponized drug testing is real in the sport of boxing. We've seen countless cases of that throughout the years. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Eubank Jr. was the victim of that. But regardless, he's been the A-side in other fights to where he probably had those advantages as well. But it is what it is. But yeah, Conor Benn, man. Conor Benn to me is a complete clown. Again, a guy who just appeals to the lowest common denominator. You know, his whole shtick is basically cosplaying as his dad, but I mean Conor Benn, man, privately educated, grew up in Australia, jet-setted around the world to Spain, etc. in his youth, never had to struggle for anything in his life, and he's acting like he's some roadman killer, you know, talking like he grew up in the ends. It's embarrassing. Honestly, it's fucking embarrassing. And even how he kind of fucking presents himself on social media rubs me up the wrong way. The guy looks like a fucking MS-13 starter pack, you know, trying to fucking look like some Honduran fucking gangbanger. Conor Benn's a fucking complete fraud. His whole career's been fraudulent as far as I'm concerned, and now it's time to step up. But we know it's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. He's not going to fight anybody worth a damn. He'll fight some old man next, dig him up from the grave, do his job there, and yeah, he'll fuck around and look for some big money fights that don't really, they don't really benefit his legacy like that, you know. Again, don't be shocked if he fights someone like Robert Guerrero on his return, or Victor Ortiz, someone who's completely shot. And after that, he'll target some has-been like Adrian Broner. Again, that's technically a big fight if you get Broner in the UK, but it's a big fight, but it's not a good fight. It doesn't do anything for Conor Benn's legacy from a sporting perspective, and that is what this is supposed to be, a sport, proving you're the best, or proving how good you are. And Conor Benn just doesn't have the minerals to prove that. He doesn't have the balls to do that. It's as simple as that. Conor Benn doesn't have to struggle for anything in his life, so he can take these risks. He can fight a Duron Ennis. He can fight a Virgil Ortiz. But no balls. But we know that already. We know Conor Benn is going to take the easy road. He's going to take these sort of high-profile fights that carry little risk, like, for example, Adrian Broner. And that's how he's going to navigate his career. And it's going to be a fucking chore to watch until somebody cleans him out. But yeah, this is the problem with British boxing, though. I mean, it's all about the characters and you know, this, that, and the other. But bro, there's very little substance behind Conor Benn. not only as a fighter, but as a person in general. The guy's a fraud and is totally inauthentic as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong on Conor Benn. Maybe he'll prove me wrong and he'll take some risky fights at his own weight. Maybe. I mean, listen, if he's that dead set on fighting at 160, fight Liam Smith. Why not fight Liam Smith? Where's the talk in regards to that fight? Liam Smith, you know, if he comes to fight, we all know he's going to give Conor Benn a torrid time at 160. So that fight more than likely is not going to happen. And he can't even drain Liam Smith like that, really, because Liam Smith primarily is a 154 fighter. So a 157 catch weight isn't really going to affect Liam Smith like that. I guess he could stick in a rehydration clause, but yeah, I don't think he'll go near Liam Smith, quite frankly. And again, that speaks testament to Conor Benn and what he's about or what he's not about. But yeah, I'm sick of this guy, quite frankly, sick of him. But yeah, his day will come, as it always does. But anyway, share your thoughts below. Been your guy, Delboy. Peace.